Hey guys, Video Master here. This video is mainly just me trying to do something with my YouTube account because I don't do too much with it anymore except for the Twilight Sparkle answers, which you don't actually see getting updated because I always make the videos private. But as the description up there says, it's pretty much video game story time, where I'm just going to tell a random story about how I got one of my video games. And yeah, that's about it. The idea kind of came to me because I've been watching Happy Console Gamer, and he does stuff like this sometimes, so yeah. We'll see how much I have to edit out if I start going on a tangent, but pretty much one of the greatest game finds I believe I've ever gotten was a Super Nintendo game, which I still have, and I will be showing it to you. It was, there was a time in high school where I had gotten, like, my dad had bought me a Nintendo 64. And he gave me like 4 games for it when it came out. He was able to get me 4 games for it. It's like, they were all, because of where he worked, he was able to put them on clearance or something. I forget exactly how it works, but I ended up with like, Cruisin' USA, Star Fox 64, Mario Kart 64, and GoldenEye 007. If you see any cuts in this, it's because I edited something out. But, so, I played these games a lot, and I actually played GoldenEye 7 enough to unlock all of the cheat codes the legitimate way by going through the levels and unlocking the codes. So, you know, it took a long time, and even the invincibility code, I managed to beat the faculty in that time that you needed to do to unlock invincibility. I did that. So, yeah. I'm doing so many things I'm having to edit out. But, I had the game, I'd played it enough to where I unlocked all the codes, so there wasn't really much else to do. So I was like, oh, I want to play a different game, and of course, you know, back then, what you did was if you had friends, you would trade games with each other. So, I had this one, well, I wouldn't really call him a friend. He was kind of like, you know, a friend of a friend, which is a bad idea right there. You already know. It's like, oh man, I can see where this is going. But so yeah, pretty much, he had Doom 64, and I was like, I know it's no GoldenEye, but I kind of liked Doom on the computer. I'll give it a shot. So I got, you know, we did a temp trade. I let him borrow that. He let me borrow Doom 64, and I played that for a good couple, like I think a week or so, and I was like, yeah, I'm done with this, I want my GoldenEye back. So I gave it to the friend who knew the other guy, and I was like, yeah, I need my game back. 2 weeks go by, I don't hear anything. And by now I'm getting kind of pissed, like, you know, I want my game back. It's been 2 weeks, he still has my fucking game. And yeah, it turns out that the guy, I think he like sold it or he gave it to a friend. Like, it was gone. My GoldenEye was just gone. So that was like, well, great, fucking great. And yeah, I sat there. I was like, well, if that's happening, I managed to get like I was friends with this guy. You know, I'm just going to say their names. If they ever find this video, oh well. His name was Nathan, and I was more friends with his older brother, Brandon. And I asked Brandon, I was like, well, I need you to get that game from your little bro, because his friends pretty much ripped me off and stole my GoldenEye. And if that's going to happen, I want their Doom 64. I'll figure something out. But they're not getting their game back, but I don't get mine back. No, fuck that. So he got me Doom 64 back. So now I have Doom 64 for the Nintendo 64, but I don't want it. It's like, I wanted my GoldenEye back, but that wasn't happening. So thankfully, where I grew up, Fresno, California, I don't know if they still do, because obviously I haven't lived there in like over 10 years, but they used to have a flea market that happened every weekend. Like every Saturday and Sunday in the morning, there would be a flea market that I would go to a lot because, you know, flea markets to me are awesome, but yeah. I was in there, and one of the things was there was this guy that would show up every now and then that would have like nothing but video games in his booth, and he would have like little tables that they're kind of like the jewelry tables where it's got the glass and the table goes down. And it's got the like velvet padding in there, and he would have those, and there would be video games in there, and he would sell them, and so I took it there because like one of the things that I knew he'd like to do because I had done it before. Excuse me. Is he would do trades. Like if I had like a ton of NES games, if I had like 5 NES games, I wanted to trade for this one NES game. He would do stuff like that. But like one of the other things he would do is if you had like say a PlayStation game, and you're like, I have this PlayStation game, can I trade you this PlayStation game for that NES game or something? And he would do it because the PlayStation game is newer, more people were going to be interested in it, and the old NES game. So I went there with Doom 64, and I was looking through his games, and I'm like, I want to trade this for like a Super Nintendo game. And he's like, okay, you let me know which game, and I'll see. We'll see if I'll take it. We'll see if I'll do the trade. It's like one of the things he would do is he wouldn't take sports games. Sports games never sell. So like I couldn't do that. But I looked around and I found this one SNES game in there. And I was like, oh man, I really want to play this NES game. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I don't know if you remember in Toys R Us where they used to have the little thing where you pushed buttons and it would show you previews of video games. It's like one of the previews in that stand was for this SNES game. It's like Nintendo used to have those things there. I remember going there and pressing Mega Man X3 and like watching that all the time. But like I saw that video of it and I was like, man, this looks really cool. I've heard great things. Everybody I know who's been able to play it says, oh, this is a great game. So I'm like, okay, I want that game. I have this. We'll see if he'll do it. I honestly was not expecting him to do it, and you'll see why. And so yeah, I'm like, I want to do this, and I don't. He might have asked for $10 more as well. I cannot remember, but I'm pretty sure he traded me just straight up. He went, okay, yeah. He's like, what type of game is this? I'm like, oh, it's a first-person shooter. He's like, oh, okay, yeah. Because like those were selling at the time. Those were like really hot because of GoldenEye. And he's like, yeah, I'll take that. And he takes my Doom 64 and he gives me the SNES game, and it's just mine. And I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. And I went home and I played it, and it was fucking awesome. And I enjoyed the hell out of it, and it's still in my collection. And the game in question that he decided to trade for me, and I'm gonna like try to hold this up to the camera so you can see it, was, yes, he traded me Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars straight up for Doom 63. 63. That was the beta version of Doom 64. For Doom 64. Traded up, I got this game, and I still own it. I'll never sell it, because this game is awesome. Anyway, that was pretty much my story about how I really got lucky that day. And I actually have a lot of stories like this where some of my games are just because I was in the right place at the right time. Not quite as amazing as this where like he traded outright for Doom 64, but like a lot of just walking to a thrift store and there's all these awesome SNES games for like $4 or something. I got tons of stories like that. If you're interested in hearing any more stories like this, or if you think me just talking like video game stories like this might seem interesting, if you want to hear me talk about other things like my personal experience with video games or something, like you have questions like, have you ever gone to one of those midnight game showings or something, ask me in the comments. I'll sit down and talk about them. I mean, I would find it interesting because I watch the Happy Console Gamers stuff all the time, and this is what he does. He will talk about, oh, the first time I played Metroid or something. I find that very interesting. I don't know if you guys, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Let me know. I've rambled on long enough in this video, so I'll see you all later. This is the Video Master signing out.